Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's interactive roundtable discussion organized within the European Food Fraud Community of Practice, the EFF-CoP project. First, let me start by mentioning that this event is being recorded. My name is Anastasia Vlahu. I am a project manager at Resos Branch and work package leader for the EFF-CoP project. It is my pleasure to moderate today's session and bring together two Horizon projects that are addressing highly relevant and interconnected challenges within our food systems. So today's discussion is entitled Reducing Food Waste Through Innovation, Enhancing Efficiency and Sustainability in Food Systems. We're very pleased to host representatives from the FOODGUARD and BREADCRUMB projects who will share valuable insights on food waste prevention, food integrity, consumer trust, transparency, and the acceptance of suboptimal food. Our aim today, the aim of today's roundtable discussion is not only to present project findings and perspectives, but also to encourage dialogue and identify opportunities for collaboration between EU-funded initiatives that are working together to bring more resilient, transparent, let's say, sustainable food systems. So before we begin, I would like to briefly introduce our speakers to you. So first, our first speaker is Dr. Tassou. Dr. Tassou is a research director at the Hellenic Agricultural Organization Dimitra and collaborator of the coordinating organization, the Agricultural University of Athens in Greece. Her research focuses on food microbiology and safety, microbial diversity, fermented functional foods with probiotics, food biopreservation, innovative tools and methods for food spoilage and safety assessment, as well as food fraud and authenticity. She has coordinated or led more than 50 competitive EU and national research projects and currently serves as deputy coordinator of the FOODGUARD project. Dr. Tassou, thank you very much for joining us today. The floor is yours. We can start with your presentation.
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you. Hello. I thank you for giving this opportunity to present the FOODGUARD project. It's one of the activities that are really necessary to join other projects and exchange our work and ideas. So give me... Can you see my screen now, the presentation?
Yes, but, no, perfect. Thank you.
Now it's the presentation mode, okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I start presenting the FOODGUARD project. As you can see, the title is Microbiome Applications and Technological Hubs and Solutions to Minimize Food Loss and Waste, targeting the minimization of food loss and waste, which is the theme of our workshop today. It's an Horizon Innovation Action project, which has started beginning of 2024 and now is running in the third and final year of implementation. It's coordinated by the Agricultural University of Athens and Professor George Naikas. These are the logos of the partners participating in this big project, almost 21 partners. And what was the need for the application for FOODGUARD? Is this worrying metrics about the food loss and waste, as we have the reports that EU countries produce approximately 59 million tons of food waste annually. That is translated to 132 kilograms per person, approximately. And 50% of this food waste can be prevented by extending the shelf life of products, which is also reduces the cost. And up to 10% of the total annual food waste in the EU is linked to date marking on food packaging. So for the effective food waste reduction, the holistic architecture of FOODGUARD includes the simultaneous alignment of digital tracking, biological intervention, and economic viability. For the smart, and it includes smart monitoring by digitizing quality via sensor fusion and predictive AI, developing a biological shield by extending shelf life via microbiome, protective cultures and their activities, and to prepare for the market these solutions for the market reality by validating consumer willingness to pay and adoption behavior. In this context, the specific research objectives include the development and validation of novel preservation solutions to extend the shelf life of perishable foods, to develop microbial indicators and fingerprints and their deployment as food quality and safety indices, to implement developed tools for predicting food spoilage and foodborne illness risks based on microbiome data, and finally to implement data science, information and cloud technologies for traceability and continuous online quality control and monitoring. So the groups of FOODGUARD tools include, as we said, one part is the biopreservation packaging, where in 4 pilot cases involving meat, fish, feta, cheese, and vegetables, we develop biopreservation techniques with applying protective cultures or packaging solutions with edible films with natural antimicrobials incorporated. Another part of tools relate to shelf-life monitoring with direct biomarkers, which can be molecules or genes, indirect biomarkers with the use of time temperature indicators, smart printed tags, sensors with AI and machine learning processing, and or microbial indicators. Then the shelf-life prediction with predictive modeling and the use of data science, AI, machine learning, advanced analytics. Finally, the continuously enabling traceability using Internet of Things, cloud technologies, QR code, or distributed ledger. Particularly for novel preservation solutions, as I said, we have the development of sustainable packaging solutions with edible films or the microbial protective cultures. And effective protective cultures so far have been shown to be different for the different food pilots. For example, Lati Lactobacillus sake for fish or meat. Other Lantibacillus species like Plantarum pendosus or Carnobacterium for feta cheese, and Pandoea agglomerans for lettuce. And this all include the biological shield, which is extending shelf life naturally, and it is demonstrated a mild antimicrobial action suppressing severe pathogens like Listeria monocytogenes or E. coli, O178, while preserving sensory profiles and extending by at least 2 days the shelf life of vegetables. Then we go to digitizing quality through sensor fusion and predictive modeling, where measurements of different sensors, FTIR, multispectral imaging, or and molecular are combined with molecular analysis or with conventional microbiological analysis, and all these with the use of data science approaches and machine learning drive to development of predictive models that can predict the shelf life more accurately. For example, as I said, we have the application of NIR sensors, FTIR, or multispectral imaging like videometer, non-invasive sensors or rapid sensors that can monitor the quality and shelf life in line or at line in the production process in the factory. Then for the shelf life prediction, again, as I said, microbiological analysis, classical counts are combined with optical sensors or smart tags or printed tags, and all these are processed to provide predictive models for the accurate shelf life prediction. Finally, we have a continuously enabling traceability by developing these blockchain applications with which we can not only trace back the origin of the the food, but also we can have the history of some environmental or quality parameters of the food during transportation or storage. And of course, there are several challenges in different tools that we are using. One big challenge is the complex multiomics data that need to be processed for interpretation. Then the culture stability that we use as protective cultures, the definition of metabolic activities of certain microbiota, and at the same time to apply them as indicators while we preserve the organoleptic and sensory profile of the food. Finally, to prepare consumers to accept all these solutions, and of course inform and communicate authorities and policy stakeholders. All of these solutions synthesize the future of food integrity. The sensors, the biopreservation, the consumer perception, and all these results can extend the shelf life of food, monitor their quality, and predict the expiration date to reduce food loss and waste, to ensure food security, sustainability, and safe and healthy nutrition. And with all these tools, we target all the food chain, from food producers to food processors, consumers, inspection and certification bodies, policy makers and regulatory authorities, and the industry. Thank you for the attendance.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tassou, very insightful presentation. We can now move on to our second presentation. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Anna Twarogowska, if I'm pronouncing it well, apologies.
Very good.
Dr. Twarogowska is a postdoctoral researcher at NILVO, the Flanders Research Institute for Agriculture, Fisheries and Food in Belgium. Her work focuses on biomass valorization within a systemic approach to food loss and waste, recognizing it as a multidimensional challenge involving supply chains, consumer behavior, and decision-making processes. She currently coordinates the BREADCRUMB project, which explores system-level factors shaping food waste, food marketing standards, consumer perceptions, and pathways for the valorization and acceptance of suboptimal food. Anna, thank you for being with us today. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I will share my presentation. I think it's okay. Can you see it?
Yes,
Okay.
it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for this invitation. So today I will present the findings of our and the work of our project BREADCRUMB, what it stands for: the Bringing Evidence-Based Food Chain Solutions to Prevent and Reduce Food Waste related to Marketing Standards and Deliver Climate and Circularity Co-Beneficence. So yes, so we have quite a different topic as a other project, but I believe so, and as I heard that we can definitely learn from each other and help each other. So before I'm gonna go a bit further on the customer trust, transparency, and acceptance of the suboptimal foods and the consumer behaviors, I will give some overview really at a glance about our project. So actually we are at the end of our almost, we still have a half a year, so we are on the end phase of the project. We started in January 2024 and we are ending in December this year. So we are a consortium of 21 partners from 7 different countries. So here is a bit an overview of our our partners. So we have academic partners, knowledge and innovation partners, and food supply chain actors that mainly were participated in our case studies work. But yeah, to give a bit of background, so we are working on the food marketing standards that they actually ensure quality, consumer trust, and then fair on the fairness of the market, but they also can drive some food waste. Yeah, the main goal of the setting of the food marketing standards, they are quality, safety, and trust. But they can be very complex, very complex. There are a few layers that they're operating, because we have the public ones and the private ones. They are sometimes they are just going above each other. So what is creating really difficult to understand, like mechanism of actually contributing of those to the to creation of the food waste and food loss. But so to a bit guide of our work and at the project, we focus on the 5 objectives. The first one was to establish a comprehensive understanding of the existing EU food marketing standards. Then second objective was to develop an empirical evidence based on the food waste generation. So where we actually had the case studies where we through the case studies where they are the stakeholders and the food chain actors, we try to collect the data related to food market standards and food waste creation. Then we wanted to understand and model the mechanism of the food waste generation and the trades-off. And to enhance also market access and business potential for suboptimal food. And the last objective, to effectively manage the upscaling the project results. But in my today's presentation, I will focus mostly, I guess, on the objective 4, to enhance the market access and the business potential for suboptimal foods, what is also really related to work of our partners from AINIA, and then Maripaz is also present today. So they did a great job on the actually understanding also the consumer acceptance, what drives the decisions they make, why they are willing to buy the suboptimal or food, or why they don't want to buy it, or also how the actually just naming suboptimal, if it's not actually already impact their decision. So yes, so I will actually in the next few minutes, and I would focus on this practical question. So when food it's still safe and eatable, what makes consumer accept it, and what makes them actually reject it? So this question is important because the answer affects wherever this suboptimal food can actually remain in the food chain instead of becoming the waste. As I said, why this topic matters. So this topic matters because the food waste is not only a technical and logistic problem. It's also shaped by the way the consumer interprets the visual imperfection, quality, and legitimacy of the product. So in practice, safe food might still be rejected if it looks a bit doubtful, unfamiliar, or it's socially undesirable at the point of the choice. So trust and transparency are not abstract communication values here, but they are practical conditions for the market uptake of the suboptimal food. So this is also why the topic actually fits so well in today's the roundtable discussion. So if we want to reduce the food waste through innovation, we need to understand actually not only what can be offered, but also what people are willing to choose. So we have to actually meet the consumers on the place they are. So, as I said, yeah, that was in the work done by our partners from AINIA. So they lead the work on this to give us the answers, and our findings come from the 3 complementary sources. So first, we had the consumer focus groups in the 4 countries, explored the meaning, emotion, acceptance thresholds, and the social context related to the suboptimal foods. The second, there was the also organized focus group with the food businesses operators. So intended the barriers, viable formats and commercialization conditions across the value chain. And the third, it was the online survey with 1,753 consumers in 7 EU countries. Countries quantify purchases intention and its drivers. So this combination is very useful because it gives us both explanation and scale. So we can see not only what consumers say, but also which patterns remain consistent across methods and countries. And so this slide, it contains the central message of the work, I would say. So consumers accept imperfection, what it looks like natural variation, when quality and safety is still feel intact, when use is familiar and practical, and when the origin or context makes the difference understandable. So the rejection of imperfection, it's happened when it signaled the aging, spoilage, mishandling, or disposal. So when the offer is purely explained, or when there is the fear of social judgment. So the important threshold is therefore not simply perfect versus imperfect, but it's also natural variation versus perceived deterioration. So consumers do not reject the imperfection itself, but they just reject this uncertainty that it's around it. So here we have also 3 numbers that can actually help us to define the opportunity. So from our work was that 70% of the responders rate stated that appearance have a highly importance in the food purchases. But at the same time, 78% says that they have already bought the food with the anesthetic imperfections. So these findings are based on the survey. So it's with the more than 1,700 consumers across the 7 EU countries. So this is important because it shows 2 things at the once. So appearance matters strongly, but acceptance is already there. So market is real, but yet really fragile, because acceptance depends on how the product is framed, explained, and experienced by the consumers. So when we look more closely at the trust, several practical factors appear consistently. So the trust grows with the clear reassurance on safety and freshness, equivalent taste and quality expectation. When it's familiar in use, there is some visible information, traceability, local origin, and coherent pricing. On the other hand, the trust drops with doubts about the safety and quality, a lack of the information, low shelf visibility, unattractive appearance that suggests some dirt or age, a preference for visually perfect foods, and the concerns about what others may think, that it's also something that can impact the decision. And the report also shows that communication matters most when it reduces uncertainty. So, for example, through clear in-store information, no stigmatization languages, or the practical explanation of use. So in that sense, transparency is not just giving more information, it's giving the kind of information that helps consumer interpret difference without reading it as a risk. And yeah, so this is my last slide, where with this slide, I think we could show it a bit about how acceptance can be made a bit more practical. So our findings suggest that sustainability alone, it's not enough. The first, consumer need to feel confident that quality and safety are still intact. The second, the more familiar and easy the product is to understand, the easier it is to accept. So it's why simple concepts often perform better than more technical ones. So on our example, I can say that we noticed that people are willing also much more to accept just fruit puree than some other like ham flavor powder, because that's the puree, the fruit puree. It's something more familiar and more close to their normal day life than actually the flavored ham, cooked ham flavored powder that seems to be more technical, more artificial. So that's why they are a bit more on hold with the choosing this kind of innovation solutions. So and then on the third, so execution matters a lot. So also labels, packaging, shelf life, communication, and the price coherent shape, the whatever imperfection is read as a natural variation or as a warning sign. And this is actually where the technology can help in a very concrete way. So it can support decision making by telling consumers what the product is best used for. So, for example, if they are tomatoes that they're already ripe, so then just simply explanation by the digital label, QR code, or an application could say best for the sauces, soups, or juices. So that kind of guidance reduces the uncertainty and makes the acceptance easier at the point of the choice. So the question is not only whether the consumer trusts suboptimal food, but how we design the information and digital support to actually trust become the action. So that was the insight from our project. And as I said, that here mostly we focus on the work around the consumers and their acceptance. And yeah, because we also, of course, we can always come with the best new solutions, but if the consumers, they are not ready for it, it's always problematic to actually introduce it. So
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. I think we can now move into the interactive roundtable discussion. So the goal of this discussion is to explore the connections between food waste, food integrity, consumer trust, and sustainability, while identifying common challenges and opportunities for collaboration between projects and stakeholders, of course. So I'm going to address my first question to Dr. Tassou, and from the FOODGUARD perspective, what are the main challenges linking food waste and trust in today's food systems? You're muted, excuse me.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, generally speaking, and not only from FOODGUARD perspective, I think one of the key challenges is the consumer behavior and misinformation. And not only for the imperfect foods that most of them are going to waste. We know that households contribute significantly to global food waste, so the consumers need to be educated and informed about what means the best before on the labeling, what means the use by. It's very critical to discriminate that use by is related to safety issues and nothing can be consumed after that date. However, when we see the best before on a package, means that this food in most cases is very stable and can be consumed without any problem after the end of the expiration date, considering also that the organoleptic characteristics are good and the storage has been appropriate. Also, there is the tend to overbuying food by consumers, or some storage habits and everyday habits in the kitchen, in the food handling. So all of these together is a very useful information to minimize food waste. Another thing is that the distrust by consumers to the food that is imperfect, as Anna said before, or even food that is surplus and is redistributed to people. A major challenge also is that the poor reporting of the food waste in all the European countries, since we are talking about Europe. And without reliable data, it's difficult to design policies and to convince the public that what is the real magnitude of the problem. Finally, it's the issue of we are dealing also in FOODGUARD, the issue of transparency and the information that is provided for the food, the origin, the travel of the food until it reaches from farm to fork, and all these are really challenges that need to be faced and to be addressed in order to provide solutions for the food waste and loss, I think.
Thank you very much. Moving on, for the breadcrumb perspective, what drives consumer trust in food products, and how does this affect the willingness to consume imperfect or suboptimal food?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So as I said, it's also, we saw that the main driver is safety. So we also work with the different commodities, and we see that definitely if it's involved meat and fish, that the willingness to even buy something closer to the date, that it's really already, that's much lower than actually if it's with the fruits and vegetables. But also, as I said, we also had these focus groups among the different countries, and there were also differences within the countries. So I think one of the thing is that also, like in Belgium, we had the focus group, and actually the one of the conclusion for the most of the people who participated, they just said that they are not exposed at all on the suboptimal food, because the private standards that they are at the supermarket, they are, you know, putting in on the spots all of these perfect foods, and maybe if you are in some local market or local shops, that maybe you can see some imperfect food, or some of the retailers, they try to put like the special line, like but they're just like positioning in marketing. But while, for example, our partners from Slovenia, they were much more used to that in the common shops in the thing, and they are seeing these products, yeah, that they are a bit out of shape with a different color, then they are much more willing to buy it because it's much more familiar for them. So that's also something that I think it's also driving the just being familiar with. So I think if now children, they go to the shops and they see that everything is the same shape, color, and everything, that for them it's normal, right? So it's a bit positioning what it's normal and what not. And also, but then from the also people from the people who participated in a focus group, it was quite clear that if something less perfect, it should be cheaper. So the price, so also the practicality. So they said if we would buy it, that was also suggested, like we want to know what we can do with that, immediately. So yeah, it's best if we had the case of the yellow lines that actually they are the same tasty, they are even more juicy, but the people expect the green lines, not yellow lines, but actually they're better for the juice. So that's why it's like still looking, and actually people, they said if we buy it and we know how to use it, it also make it easier to planning for cooking and that kind of things. And as I said, that's that was said that if it's just looking as natural variation, it's much more willingness to buy it. But if it's the black spots or something that it looks already suspicious from the side of food safety, then people, they are definitely much more resistant to buy it and to have it. And also, yeah, familiarity. So we said, because we had also some ideas for the valorization of the certain groups, and that was, it was something familiar or thing that was also much more got much higher scores for willingness to buying. That we had also yeah, as I said, we had the one aromas from the oranges, I think, or some oils from the oranges. So if already the heavier processing was involved, also consumers were less willing to explore possibility of buying it. So I think everywhere where the human is involved, it's always complex and much more difficult than on the paper. So and I think it's also like in the Belgium case that it's a bit of the how the society sees you. Some of people say, I would never serve anything out of shape or something for my guests because it will be seen badly by them. So like this, also the social norms and the pressure from the society, it also has the impact. And so that's why I think it's also that there is also no one solution for the whole Europe. It's really, really cultural, really dependent on the economic state of the country and how it's the also mentality and the cultural aspects of the consumers.
Thank you. Moving on to Dr. Tassou again, to what extent does consumer mistrust lead to increased food waste, for example, through discarding products perceived as suspicious or unsafe?
Yeah, I think what consumer matters more is the safety of food, because they are quite confused. They don't really know how to discriminate quality and safety. So as much information as we give to the consumers about of course, what is it safe? It is safe to be consumed. That best before is related just to quality, and we give some information about the origin, as I said, or what the expiry labels mean. Then they will become more confident about what to buy, and they will not be so much suspicious about the food they buy. Or we could provide alternative uses, as Anna mentioned, about particular foods that are close to expiration date. I would say that people that buy organic food, for example, they are more familiar with imperfect foods, because you see carrots with different shape and size and different type of other foods, while the others that see all the perfect foods in the supermarket, they are more hesitant to buy them.
You're quite right about that. Moving on to Dr. Twarogowska. How do labeling information or digital tools shape consumer decisions around discarding or accepting food?
Yeah, I think it's mainly related to removing this uncertainty. So I think nowadays, anyhow, we are all overwhelmed with the information. So we can have information about everything, but then actually, we get from everywhere information. But I think what consumers are really looking for, it's something that's gonna help them make decision and make it easier. So yes, even like this best before or used by, I don't know, but I don't know why still we didn't just put it like quality, and the other one it's like do not eat, like simply do not eat because it can cause some stomach issues, or you can have the thing. And the other, it's, I know that in Belgium some of supermarkets they put it like close to yogurts or the dairy products, like this before you throw away, smell, like you had like smell, open it, smell it, see it if it's looks okay, if it doesn't have anything. But yeah, because I see it and I also hear it in a lot of projects that this issue is coming, that people are not thinking, but maybe just the simple solution that would be like, quality and then really your health safety, so or something. Because yeah, I think now it's the thing that we get so many information, everyone is a bit lost on the way what they should eat, what they should not eat, because yeah, all of the packaging, they are screaming something else. And thing, you have the, of course, people who are more aware, they're really yeah. And I think in Belgium we also noticed that the origin, it's quite important for the people, but then also people sometimes they have more time, but you have also people who yeah, just go to supermarket because they can buy everything in one place. They just go check the list. Of course, we are living in the times that it's quite rushed, and everyone need to have their to-do list. So I would say that yeah, that it should be as simple as possible, and giving like this for the consumer some yeah, this information that can make decision, if it's safe, it's not safe, what can I do with that, how long it's still gonna be, I can keep it in the fridge. And I think that kind of support the consumer needs nowadays.
Thank you. Dr. Tassou, which tools and solutions are most effective in addressing both food waste and food integrity, in your opinion?
Some of the tools that we already implement in FOODGUARD are, I think that they are quite effective. The shelf-life extension, it's also reflected in the cost. When even when we keep a salad, a vegetable salad 1 day more, I mean it's very essential. So to find solutions for extension of shelf life, to apply the predictive models that we have already developed for the accurate prediction of shelf life. When we predict, of course, the shelf life more accurately, then we are not going to have so much waste, and we will consume it in the right period. Now, some other tools that from FOODGUARD that can be applied by the food companies. The rapid instruments that I mentioned, that they can monitor the food quality online, they will take out that badge from the production. They don't need to have the production lost at the end. They will very quickly detect any kind of spoilage or of contamination during the production, so they can act very proactively. And these are sensors that are very rapid, and we do not need to perform the classical microbiological analysis and to have results after 2 days. Okay. And finally, the information about the traceability that we can give to consumers, that we can increase the trust and confidence about what they eat. All of these, of course, tools, they can be effective when combined with appropriate transfer of knowledge to stakeholders, of course, to consumers, but also to authorities and to food production companies, just to be effective at the end.
Yeah, I suppose that's what we're trying to do today through this discussion. And Dr. Twarogowska, what are the biggest barriers to consumer acceptance of suboptimal food, and how can they be overcome?
I think, yeah, as we already mentioned, it's just mainly it's the safety, that if something feels not 100% safe, they prefer then, pay like more. And there's also, if they can choose, they could always choose they're gonna choose for the perfect one, not the one with the with some different shape or something. But I think also like the way it is actually presented. We also saw that the language is kind of also important, because if from the beginning we're gonna put it on, like, put the label on this, it's less than normal, then of course that's immediately that gonna spiral the thoughts, like, okay, but so why then I should buy it something, that it's less or something. So but I think the safety, it's really a big player. So people, they are still want to they don't want to get sick or something. So so this is and of course they also they don't want to pay for something that they will have to throw away. So that's why that it's also one of the reasons, because they said, yeah, sometimes we buy for the whole week, and if we are already buying something that has some signs that it's maybe less quality, then it's not gonna hold till the moment we plan something to cook, and we will have to reject it. But yeah, so I think this is the thing, and I think maybe, yeah, the clear communication also, because yeah, as I said, I think sometimes it's also, now you have this a lot of labels as well, Nutri scores, Eco scores, and then each shop's they're putting the other scores, so I think also, as my personal opinion, but I think it's a lot of pressure put it on the individual consumers, when the other players should be, in the end, take the more responsibilities that they are taking. Because if you see it like, we as the humans, we have to really take care of thinking about, and one of the thing, I don't know really what came out from our studies, that was putting the pressure on the consumers. Like, I know that from the Belgian consumers, like, they don't like to be pushed on this thing. You have to make more sustainable choice, because they really, it's not something that's gonna trigger them to buy it because it's more sustainable. They getting more resistant to this kind of messages. It's on you. You have to be making more sustainable decision. You have to, it's up to you. So they get a bit like, okay, if that's not gonna be definitely a message that's gonna push them to buy the product. So I think it's also, we have to see that the a bit, I think the tiredness of consumers and individuals to taking all of the responsibility for the saving the planet, and also all of the things, it's getting a bit also topic that it's that also influence the decisions. But also I wanted to maybe coming back a bit what was said, but I'm just thinking, and as I made the questions like that, if consumers and companies are willing to pay the price for these innovations, because that's also sometimes, because I know that this topic, like it was already mentioned before, that the food waste is also not really well we also encountered this challenge in our project, that actually it was really difficult for companies really give us the numbers with the food waste. And if we digged a bit more and said, and specifically for the related to food marketing standards, it was really difficult to get this data, because I think it's right now, it's just sometimes it's for them, it's just easier to dispose or cheaper than actually thinking about the really valorization or using the thing. So it's right now, this, they said that also food waste, it's not something that they have bigger problems and there is somewhere, but it's also not main problem. But I think just because it's also not well measured and the numbers, they are not there, and if you don't see actually the magnitude of the problem, then it's sometimes it can get lost between like just daily operations. So I think, but I know that of course, if we come with the all new innovation that's gonna put the extra price tag on the end products, that gonna also for the companies, that if they will have to implement it, that it's also extra costs. So yes, I'm also thinking about this aspect, you know, how the companies of the consumers are willing to pay this extra price for this introducing these innovations.
Thank you. They are a little bit in general, let's say. Finally, I would like to open the final question to both speakers. First, to Dr. Tassou. How can EU projects collaborate more effectively to create joint solutions addressing food waste, food integrity, transparency, and consumer trust?
Yeah, this is a big challenge. That's why we communicate now through these workshops and through clustering with other projects that we have common goals, let's say. I think the major problem and what has to be done is that to generate and to develop a unique data ecosystem, a food ecosystem, so that we can have all countries and all actors of the food supply chain shared data spaces, to build digital infrastructures and not isolated pilots in different. I don't know if this is and how this can be feasible, but I mean, this is the ideal ecosystem that everybody can have access, because for us it would be very useful all these results of the consumer studies, for example, that in other projects they have already, or our results can be of significance to some other projects that will implement similar solutions. And we have faced this problem with the huge amount of data that we need to manage in this project, and how this data can be talk to each other and to be used by others. So I think this is a great challenge for all the EU projects to communicate with each other. Another solution would be to have living labs in different countries and joint labs, or to collaborate in providing policy recommendations from different perspectives, from different projects, so that the authorities can be advised by us to design the next steps for the adoption of new technologies, for example, or for the adoption of and the development of appropriate communication tools, for example. So it's very important, definitely, the collaboration between EU projects, I would say. To have this interoperable food ecosystem. And to take this opportunity now, because FOODGUARD is participating in a cluster of other projects that are all dealing with the study of the food microbiome and the use of food microbiomes. It's called Microbiomes for Sustainable Food, I think. So we all plan to a joint event addressed exclusively to policy authorities, and is planned to take place in Brussels, 1st of October, I think. The day is fixed. I'm not sure about the place and all this, so you can stay tuned for this very nice event. I mean, just addressed to policy people. I hope to be successful.
Very interesting. You could share the information with our project, and we can share it with our hub members, Dr. Tassou.
Yes, of course.
And same question to you, Dr. Twarogowska. I'm sorry, your name is very difficult for me.
No, you're doing really great. No worries. Yes, so I think, yes, and I think the collaboration between the project is the core. I think especially when we see it that also just topic of the food waste is so complex. So we cannot, because you see, we have now two projects that they are totally different. They're actually getting the tackling the same problem from totally different approach. And I think it's even more still layers to this topic of the food waste, because it's of course the human behavior is really important. Then you have also dynamics in the food supply chain, how it's going, all of the innovation, but then also, you know, how to, because I think, and also what it's, sometimes I found it really pity that not always we know what really is happening. So, you know, we don't know all of the project, but I don't really know how to solve this problem, because sometimes when there are some I try to participate in the webinars as much as I can, but of course then agenda it's also filled. But sometimes I'm there, I'm like listening to the project, I'm thinking, wow, such a nice things. And I think it would be great that, because everyone puts the work, there is a consortium, there is a great things done, and sometimes after run of the projects, it just no more fundings or no more opportunities to carry on with, and these things, they are stopped. And then sometimes you have the projects, new project that actually could pick up what was done, but then somehow they're going a bit backwards, and then some. So yeah, I think, yeah, collaboration, communication, somehow more, yeah, I don't know, overview what is happening, because I think it's happening a lot. And it's also, I think it's we have to also see it all of this and I think before we were really going in specialization and everyone was focusing on the certain topic that it was, but we see that each of the topic has a different layers and different struggles, different problems, and we have to see it more interdisciplinary. And also we see that you know, it's like we can work on really one specific thing, but there is also other projects who work on their specific thing. And actually, if we could bring it together, it could really bring the synergy and thing. But to be honest, with the info, we also like, I know that each project has the LinkedIn's that has the some kind of sister there's a sister project that try to be in the clusters and to bring it together. But I just still don't know how technically to make it really possible to know. I think great opportunities, yeah, to participate in the webinars, having the chance to discuss with the different projects, seeing their work, their perspective, how they are working. So I think it's it's definitely great opportunity. And yes, and I think to be honest, yeah, it would be. I think it would be needed another few projects to just find a solution who makes it really possible. But yeah, sometimes, yeah, step by step, day by day, and I think on that chances we also, we see people, we have we hear what they are talking and things. So in general, on that way, we also somehow getting in touch or seeing, and then it's creates opportunity to create further collaborations or just somehow, yeah, bring it all together. Because yeah, I think I think in the end, yeah, everyone have the small piece of puzzle that in the end, if we could put together, that would be great. But yes. That's also the system that we have to a bit navigate the project's time, because we also, I think it's also one of the struggle is that if something is developed on the project, then who picks that up? Because that can be great solution or some hub, like I know in the Chorizo project there was like the made hub, so that where the data can be introduced and the thing, but then it's also the question who gonna manage this after the project, because then, yeah, project finished, the funding finished, and then it has to be also some, I would say, after project plans better, I think, put it on the spot, because yeah, some of the things that are great developed, but then just project ends, funding ends, and if there is no other source of the funding, and there is no willingness from the people to really still keep on alive, that can be also go just slowly faded. And but I think it's yes,
some projects have let's say solid sustainability and exploitation plans and have managed to sustain the results after the project ends.
Yes, so yes. I think we should definitely learn more and push more for this, I guess. So learn from those who already succeed. I guess it would be great, because in our project we also now we are developing one of the two, but then it's also a bit question how we gonna keep it alive after the project, because it could be really, and yeah, and industry, it's also quite difficult to get on the board, I would say, because there is a bit different mindset, I would say, scientists and thing, and really how the industry operates. So we should, I don't know, maybe also more get stronger or showing actually what it can be, the added value, I guess, and then to bring it more relevance, and then see, yeah, that tool can really help you. It's not only theoretical, but actually, if you could use it, it could be also profitable for you. But that's something that we also, I guess, need to work on.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer, let's say. I don't know if anybody from the partners has any questions. No. So as we come to the end of today's session, I would like to sincerely thank our speakers, Dr. Tassou and Dr. Anna Twarogowska, for their valuable contributions and thoughtful discussion. Today's exchange clearly demonstrated that reducing food waste and strengthening consumer trust are deeply interconnected challenges that require multidisciplinary collaboration, innovation, stakeholder engagement. It has also highlighted the importance of cooperation between projects, EU-funded projects, and communities, let's say, that work towards this goal. On behalf of Resus Brands and the EFF-CoP project, I would like to thank you for attending and participating. We hope today's discussion has been insightful and inspiring, and we look forward to continuing this dialogue in our future EFF-CoP activities. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.